Warning: the following video might contain moments that might be too disturbing for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the weird memories you had as a child? Have you seen any certain kids show touching on serious and or screwed up topics or taboo lost media that should not be seen by the public? Or that you experienced something that never happened nor exists in this universe? Yet, these questions were odd and complicated. If you answer these bad boys, you're in for a perfect ride. I don't know what Disney had up their sleeves, because I've read stories after stories on why Disney had dark secrets and moments behind our childhoods. Not to mention this problem affected one show on Disney Junior, The Lion Guard. It's a 2016 to 2019 spin-off to one of my favorite Disney franchises of all time, The Lion King. This show had the typical and wholesome adventures from any other kids show like SpongeBob SquarePants, The Lion Before Time TV series, and My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Now with that stuff out of the way, let's get to this story. There was a season 2 episode of Lion Guard that was least known to the public called The Voidlands. This episode was originally aired once on October 17, 2017 as a Halloween special, like season 1's Beware the Zimwi. Sadly, this episode was lost media and was replaced with the Agam Busho tradition, which aired on October 27th. Nobody on the internet has ever talked about this episode since, including the Lion King fanbase. I was the only one who knew about this episode and how I found it, so I'll give it a rundown. After I left high school, my friend gave me a USB stick and said I could possess it. The stick was a black and red SanDisk 128GB cruiser blade model, and it contained special files my friend had downloaded. I thanked him and went home to my bedroom. I booted up my old PC and plugged the USB stick in. It contained some interesting files. There are folders like documents, music, pictures, and videos. The documents folder is nothing important. It's mostly filled with random essays, stories, and the like. In the music folder, it had songs like Rolling Stones' Start Me Up, Coldplay's Paradise, Madonna's Ray of Light, and so much more. Pictures, again, contains nothing important. It's just photos of landscapes, buildings, my friends' cats, and hell, even random memes I may find hilarious and awesome. Lastly, yet interestingly, the videos folder. It consists of subfolders leading to YouTube videos, viral clips, meme videos, DVD rips, etc. I checked out the DVD rips folder, which had movies and TV shows encoded from DVDs. There are subfolders of Disney movies like The Lion King and Toy Story, Drinks movies like Shrek and Madagascar, and even episodes of SpongeBob, The Simpsons, and Danger Mouse. That's when I came across a folder called The Lion Guard. I looked at the folder, and it had 3 seasons. However, I checked the season 2 folder, and what I found caught me off guard. Next to Rescuing the Outlands, there's a new episode that I have never heard of before. It's called The Voidlands. Being a curious person to watch this obscure episode, I started with a video, and it opened VLC Media Player. As the video starts, it cuts straight to the show's logo, skipping the intro. After Mufasa's deep voice said the show's name out loud, the title appeared under the logo saying, The Voidlands. As it appeared, Kion's cheery voice could be heard saying the title out loud. The episode began with the Lion Guard's lair at night, with Kion and Fuli having a conversation about what they're going to do tomorrow. You know, typical Lion Guard stuff. Once the talk had ended, Kion and Fuli went to sleep in their separate spots in the lair. Kion yawns and dozes off, hoping that tomorrow's going to be a normal day for him and the gang. As the screen fades to black, as it shows Kion waking up from his slumber, and before he is about to say good morning to his friends, he gasps. He looked everywhere, and no one was there. Fuli, Bunga, Beshti, Ono, Makini, Simba, Nala, Kira, and the others were nowhere to be seen, leaving Kion all alone until he noticed something different about the place and the environment. The prairie lands around Kion are completely monochrome, with him being almost desaturated where you could barely see his color. The sky is now white. You can hardly make out any clouds. However, the music in this scene is a different story, which didn't fit in a show like this before. I can only describe it as 1970s horror movie ambient music, accompanied by the sound of wind blowing. Kion is immediately shocked at the sight. saying that it's just his imagination playing games on him, or the fact that he's colorblind out of nowhere. Furthermore, he decides to shrug it off and wanders around the twisted, monochrome fields at the Pride Lands. Fully? Bunga? Anyone? Where are you guys? Khan cried out, but no one came here for him. He even tried to assure himself that it was a joke, and that was when he saw the silhouettes of both Fuli and Bunga from afar. As Khan runs towards the cheetah and honey badger, he stops and gasps. Fuli and Bunga were facing back. They were completely monochrome. Suddenly the two turned around to face Khan, and he immediately screamed shortly at the sight. The eyes on the colorless Fuli and Bunga were plain white voids, staring at Khan with almost expressionless looks on their faces. Fuli? Bunga? Khan stuttered. What happened to you guys? What is this? As Kyan asked the duo, Fuli began to speak. But what's off about Fuli's voice is that it didn't sound like her voice actress Diamond White. It sounded like a uncanny, creepily monotone, and electrically altered voice, which didn't fit her character, and it gave me a slight chill hearing that. What's the matter, Kyan? Don't you want to be one of us? No, Kyan nervously answered. This isn't the Pride Lands I was used to. What is going on? Please! Oh, Kyan, Fuli replied. This is not the Pride Lands anymore, silly. This is the Voidlands. Now, join us, our lion friend. That was when Kyan ran away in fear of the demented cheetah and honey badger. Fuli starts to yell in a much more unsettling tone. Don't let him get away, Bunga. He needs to be part of our society in the Voidlands. Get him! Bunga silently nods before the two chase Kyan. Then Kyan trips on the rock, letting out a loud yelp. As he got up from the fall, he suddenly gasped. He noticed Bashti, Ono, and Makini, but they were devoid of any color and had white voids for their eyes. Like Fuli and Bunga, as Kyan screaming ran away, Fuli and Bunga went to the other three. Fuli then demanded the others, saying, Get that red-haired lion cub, mortals. What are you waiting for? They all nod silently as the group runs after the fearful lion. Khan's legs begin to get weak from all that running, causing him to fall and cannot get up. He sees Fuli, Bunga, Bashti, Ono, and Makini walking up towards him. More characters can be seen along with them. Simba, Nala, Rafiki, Zazu, Kira, and the other animals. All monochrome with white void eyes. Kyan tried to use the roar of the elders on them, but nothing happened. Fuli then said, Give it up, Kyan. There's no use running away from us. You will become one of us in the Voidlands. Our little red-haired friend. Now watch this, ferocious mortals. She then walks closer to the weak Kyan, who is attempting to move from Fuli's evil grasp, but to no avail. She puts her paw on Kyan's head, leading to his timely transformation. As Fuli held her paw on Kyan's head, he allowed a loud, blood-curdling scream. His almost faded colors drained from his body, and his pupils started to disappear from his eyes as they turned entirely white. As the grisly ordeal concluded, it abruptly cuts to Kyan and the Lion Guard lair at sunrise, all looking normal, yelling in horror and gasping for air, realizing that it was just a bad dream. Suddenly he heard Fuli's normal voice shouting his name. Fuli comes over to Kyan, comforts him, and asks him what's the matter. Kyan then explains to Fuli about his nightmare, detailing every single event about the Voidlands. Fuli was stunned at Kyan's dream story. She began to reassure him in her happy-go-lucky tone. Oh, I'm sure you are alright, Kyan. Sometimes we all do have nightmares, and none of them even bother us at all. Come on, there's another adventure waiting for us. Oh, great idea, Fuli, Kyan replied, feeling relieved. Thank you for keeping me in touch. You're welcome, Fuli said as the screen faded to black. Before the normal credits could play, the video abruptly ended. Not only was I unnerved or feeling any dread, I felt confused at the fact that I found this episode that only aired once, and like I previously discussed, no one has ever talked about it online. It's a good thing I have screenshots saved to this article, but there's no way in hell I would upload the footage up to YouTube or Internet Archive due to legal reasons with Disney. My friend has harbored some weird stuff on that USB stick, but I don't really know if that's the case. After all, the find was pretty perplexing, so I decided to move on and watch other shows and movies on that stick. Before I conclude this story, I have one more thing to put out. it was odd that Disney got away with this episode. And most importantly, what the heck is up with the writers when producing it for television once? So that was The Lion Guard, The Voidlands. And my thoughts on it, it's actually a pretty good one and pretty intense one since, this is basically like the whole episode for this creepypasta is basically just one whole nightmare, for poor Kion. And, even the protagonist just felt shocked at, what he has witnessed. Like, yeah, at least there's no like realistic blood or, other typical cliches in creepypastas besides, the SB thing, which I think has been like a very rare trope in creepypastas. But the whole story itself is pretty good. Especially like, it just feels like a normal episode with like, some unnerving imagery moments like, like the characters having like white void for eyes and all that. And apparently this creepypasta is pretty much inspired by the one SpongeBob creepypasta, Faceless, which I think I need to check that one someday. So yeah. So anywho, I just hope you guys enjoyed this creepypasta reading, and this creepypasta is actually pretty good, and possibly it's almost as good as the Foley's Inferno one I have already did like a few months ago. So yeah. So like and comment this video and subscribe for more content. So this is Mr. Fed here, and I hope you have a very good day. So bye.